Jesus is front and center of these holy days that are before us. And then our lives, which are so bound up with his life as we journey with him, reimagining, re-entering all that he lived. These last days, which sum up his whole ministry and express the full meaning of his beloved sonship with his Abba. Today's Holy Thursday celebration focuses on two important rituals, the washing of the feet and the Eucharist. One, embodying loving service. The other, communicating unrequited love to the end. Always, God's self-gift received calls forth our self-gift. It is a beautiful exchange of love, of the deepest form of love. All this Jesus leads us into if we truly are his followers. When something knocks strongly at the door of one's heart, it is evident that we have to listen to it. This happened to me during Lent. With the film of Gods and Men, I experienced something powerful, not only in seeing the film, but also through the response of so many guests of this monastery who contacted us saying how moved they were by this film. One friend said to me of this film, it was like a 2-hour prayer. The presence of these 7 monks of Atlas, if only through the timing of the film about them, is asking, I believe, a place in our prayer together during this holy Triduum. The lives of these 7 brothers are so humanly close to our own, which gives us a source of hope and companionship on our journey. With all their individual brokenness, they walked as Jesus walked. They gave their lives over in faith for love's sake, for God's sake, for our sake. And the light of their lives now burns in our hearts. To give a little glimpse of one of the brothers, Luke. It is said of him that his detachment was extraordinary, that his quest for God came from a place of poverty, a place of self-emptying. Luke, the medical doctor, left behind a well-respected profession and all the status and money that goes with it for a deeper love. With this deeper love pulling at his heart, he chose the way of self-emptying, and his life became a self-gift, each day a little more. At the monastery of Tiberine in Algeria, he found an utterly simple and poor monastic life that matched his spirit. Luke's medical skills became known to the neighbors of the area around Medea. So Luke finds himself at first seeing around 50 people a day, and then when the strife in the region and the country increased, he was seen as many 100, in another place it said 150, women, men, children, even the, quote, terrorists, the brothers of the mountains, as the monks of Atlas called them. They would come. Luke would spend long hours, even with his asthmatic condition, tending their needs, including those of the soul. In his 82nd year, sometime close to his kidnapping and death, he said to Christian, his superior, "Let the free man pass." How did this doctor become a simple lay brother monk, become this free man? Free for God to be in and through his life, free, not held bondage by any of the usual ego stuff, not held bondage by fears and anxieties, free because of his love and his utterly simple faith in God. There is a hymn that we have been singing during Lent. The English words are a translation from the French. And I have wondered if the small community of brothers sang this song because the words so aptly describe the ground of their faith and what they lived. The words with a little paraphrasing go like this. There is no lost child unforgiven who seeks God. No wound too deep for God's healing hand. No darkness devoid of hope for new light. For, my sisters and brothers, none has strayed too far for God. Nothing is lost for our God. Nothing is finished for God. So, let tears come, grace come, dawn come, bringing new birth, new life, new love arising. So that's the hymn. Is this not our song of faith as well? It is the Easter song that these holy days are leading us into. As I already said, our lives are commingled with Jesus' life. We are to do as he did, washing the feet of our sisters and brothers, raising the whole body of our lives with his body and blood. I'd like to conclude with a conversation Christian, the superior of the community of Atlas, had with a Sufi about the meaning of the cross. He retells this conversation during a homily that he gave on September 14th, 1993, at the General Chapter, our General Chapter in Rome. When I read the conversation, you're going to hear of a current event that he mentions that must have happened on September 13th, 1993. So when he gave this homily, September 14th was the triumph of the cross. And he did the Mass at the General Chapter. Let's talk about the cross, the Sufi said. Which one? I asked him. The cross of Jesus, obviously. Yes, but which? When you look at the cross, you see an image of Jesus. But how many crosses do you see? Perhaps 3, certainly 2, the Sufi replied, thinking a bit. There is one in front and one behind. Which comes from God? I asked him. The one in front, he said. Which comes from men? The one behind. Which is the oldest? The one in front. God had to create the first one before man could make the second one. What is the meaning of the cross in front, of the man with his arms extended? When I extend my arms, he said, it's for embracing, for loving. And the other, I asked. The other cross is an instrument of hatred for disfiguring love. My Sufi friend had said, perhaps 3. This third cross, isn't it perhaps he and I, and this common effort we are making to loosen ourselves from the cross of evil and sin behind, so we can bind ourselves to the cross of love in front? Isn't this just what is happening when a Jew, Yitzhak Rabin, and a Muslim, Yasser Arafat, yesterday committed themselves by their revolutionary handshake to renounce finally the sword and to plow together in peace the hard soil they share? Isn't that gesture the struggle of moving from hatred toward love, a third cross? This conversation about these 3 crosses gives another way to image the Paschal mystery. Resurrection happens every time we are engaged in the common effort to loosen ourselves from the cross of evil and sin behind, so we can bind ourselves to the cross of love in front. We must never forget all the beloved ones that go before us. We follow Jesus, yes, and we are also companioned by so many other followers who uphold, support our lives. And right now, we form this community, this communion of life, where the risen one becomes visible through our efforts of binding ourselves to the cross of love. Indeed, as Casey said on Wednesday at our Mass, love is the final word. It always wins. The arms of love, his body, extends to all the earth.